Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel Quick Solvers. Here I want to find inverse of f of x, where f of x is x times the absolute value of x. This is a good question for those preparing for SAT or ACT, and the difficulty level of this question is easy to medium. Let's dive in. To find the inverse of f of x, since we have the absolute value of x here, we should consider two cases. In the first case, let me write it here. In the first case, we assume that x is positive, and in the second case, we assume that x is negative. So let's focus on the first case. In the first case, if x is positive, then we can write f of x as x times x, which is x squared. All right. Then we swap x and y, or before that, I can write this, instead of f of x, I can write this as y equals x squared, okay? And now I can swap x and y and write this as y squared is x, because I want to find the inverse of f of x, okay? So what I have done here is that I replaced x by y and y by x. And when I do this, then what happens is that the original range for x becomes the domain of y. So here, then I can conclude that, I can write it here, then I can conclude that y equals plus minus square root of x, okay? But now I should decide whether y equals square root of x or minus square root of x. Again, when I swap x and y here, then the range of x becomes the domain of y. So the range of x is from 0 to plus infinity. So in here, I can write it here. The range is 0 and plus positive infinity, okay? So this now becomes the domain of y. That means y domain is 0 and positive infinity, okay? And since x is positive, then if we take y equals minus square root of x, that means y is negative, which cannot be true. Then that means y cannot be minus square root of x. Y should be positive square root of x or square root of x. Okay, so that's the first case. In the second case, where x is negative, then I can write f of x as x times, and since we have this function, this absolute value, what this does is to return minus x, because x is negative and minus x would be something positive, all right? So x times minus x, which is minus x squared. And now I can write this as, instead of f of x, I can write it as y equals minus x squared. And now if I swap x and y, then I'll get y, again, y equals plus minus square root of minus x. Maybe I should have written it here below. Y equals plus minus square root of minus x. Okay? Because if I put the square root here, then this and this cancel out each other. Okay. Again, similar to what we did here, I should here decide whether y equals square root of minus x or y equals minus square root of minus x. Well, the range of x is from, the range of x here is from minus infinity to 0. And this becomes the domain of y. All right? We know x is negative, minus x would be positive, but y should be negative. So if I take positive here, then y becomes positive. If I take negative here, then minus minus x becomes negative. Well, y should be negative because x is in this range, which is negative. That means we should take y equals minus minus the square root of x. Okay, so here what we are having here is that, well, the inverse of f of x is a square root of x if x is positive, and the inverse of f of x is minus square root of minus x if f is if x is negative. So I can write it down here. So inverse of f of x is square root of x if x is positive, and is minus the square root of minus x if x is negative.